What's going on, guys? This is Damien from The Lookout and I am here with Dragon Ball Super Card Game Masters top rogue decks to play in the current meta, and by that I mean like this week or like next one. We'll have a bunch of these rogue videos, right? Because this game has an insane number of leaders. Yeah, we're closing to 200 or so at the moment. I think we're close if we haven't passed 200 already. But yeah, it's one leader for each color with the deck lists as well. But before we begin the video, huge shout out to the Coffee Club, our lovely patrons. These are our $2 and up patrons that buy us coffee to keep this crazy content grind going. And guys, thanks a lot for your support. If you wish to join the Coffee Club, link to a patron is in the description below. And I think that's about everything. Roll the video. As with all of our videos, let's start with the breakdown. So rogue decks to play in the April meta. You know, the meta that ends in 6 days. This just kind of tells you how far in advance I've actually made these slides. Anyway, one deck for each color. Deck lists are in the description, and let's just dive into it. Let's go. First, we have one of my favorite decks ever made, Archetype Uub. So when I say, Uub, it can be Uub male, it can be Archetype Uub. I mean specifically Archetype Uub. That is an amazing deck to play. It's control / maybe a bit of very light hand destruction. It's a very, very weird deck. So what you're doing is you are charging your opponent's cards into their Z energy to gain benefits. You're giving your opponent Z energy by charging cards from their battle area, from the drop, from the hand. Yeah, the newest promo is insane here. And then you're just giving them a whole bunch of Z energy to gain effects such as when your opponent has 10 or more, everything that you play is an absolute monster. If your opponent has like 5, you can cheat in your big boss monsters. If they have 7 or 8, you can just jump to 10 like this. Yeah, Uub is insane. Uub is really, really insane. It forces your opponent to play suboptimally. So hand, board, and drop control. It's really, really cool. However, unless you know how to pilot him almost flawlessly, he can backfire very quickly. Like, there are some decks which just want the whole bunch of the energy that you're giving them, and they'll be just like, yeah mate, thank you. Or if you're playing versus a Vegeta, for example, yeah, he's fine, he's just going to warp everything. Sure. So when he's gonna play them back and then warp again, yeah, they like black decks, very difficult to play against, but if you know what you're doing, you can sneak in wins. Let's check out the deck. Okay guys, you know the drill. I'm back with Deck Planet, the best deck builder in the world. And let's go over Uub. This is the build that I am testing. So this is my weird first build with DPs. Just gonna run through the deck very quickly for those of you who are new. Mr. Boo, basically, when you combo with him, if your opponent has 3 or less Z energy, they draw a card that they charge 1 into the Z energy. The thing that's very big here is the leader, because leader says when it attacks you draw 1, and then if your opponent doesn't combo you draw another card. So a lot of the times this is a draw 2 leader, and then once per turn you can charge one of their battle cards from the drop to the Z energy. So you're looking to get as many Z energy as possible. You also have the other Uub, Mr. Uub in disguise. See him very sus running away from Chris Hansen. So same idea, when you combo with him, charge something. You have your smaller Uubs here. The idea of this Z energy is this, for example, Union Absorb, limit 1, if your leader is this leader and your opponent has 5 or more Z energy, you place 1 Mr. Boo from the drop under Uub, and then you play 1 blue Uub with a cost of 6 from your deck on top of this one in active mode. So you can get to 5 very quickly, and then you just pay 1 energy, play the Uub, use its ability. You will get one of these Mr. Boos in the drop because you're comboing with them, and then you either play the old SR 6 drop, which also when it's played you add up to 1 life to your hand, and then you get rid of one of their battle cards. You just send it to the Z energy. Or you just go with the newest Uub, which is 25k crit attacker, that gets you the Goku free cost from your deck or drop to hand. And then if your opponent has 7 or more Z energy, you charge this Uub and they charge 2 cards from hand to Z energy. That's just hand destruction. You're running just 1 Goku. Most lists don't run Goku at all. I'm just like thinking, okay, 1 just in case, but you can cut it out. You have your big boss monsters here. This Uub is basically a board clear, charges 3 cards into the Z energy. If your opponent has 7 or more, when they activate a counter, they add 1 card from the hand to the Z energy. It's a 30k double striker for 2. That's insane. And you have your big finisher here in Uub: scatter attack, deflect, dual attack. If your opponent has 10 or more Z energy, he gains plus 5k and double, and when you play him, he basically charges 3 cards into the Z energy. So if you place them on 7, you just play this dude, 30k dual attack double, 35 dual double. Like, that's insane. And then you just have the rest of the package. I'm also running 2 Bionic Blitzes to, you know, get rid of some cards in hand. Yes, I love hand destruction, I know. You're playing the newest Vegeta because his attack can't be stopped, and if you manage to rip hand away, this is game basically. And of course, Beast Gohan. Like, I think Beast Gohan, either this or Hatch. Either Beast Gohan or Golden Cooler actually. I went with Beast Gohan, but I think Cooler might be even better here. And then you just kind of have the Z deck here, your Z leader, the newest card, Hercule. I'm going to be talking about this deck a lot more in an upcoming video, so I'm gonna stop here. You have the general idea. We might as well call this video Damien's favorite decks to play that no one else plays, because this is a yellow Frieza swap and it got new support and it's so good. Yellow Frieza swap is so good. It's a control deck. At least that's how I see it. Though with the newest support, it can go very, very aggro very early on if it sets up correctly and your opponent doesn't have a way to actually stop it. So what you're doing is you're chaining Friezas. You're using a mechanic that's called swap. That means that, for example, you use swap on your 1-drop, you return it back to your hand, you play the 3-cost Frieza. You use swap, bounce it back to hand, play a 5-cost, and you do it like that. You have a cost, but the leader reduces it. So you're basically chaining Friezas, you're controlling the board, and you're winning in the long game. Your Friezas have crazy effects, all of them. And now with the newest promo, you have an insane, absurd draw engine. So great draws, great Z energy gain. This deck gains a lot of Z energy. So Uub is very happy fighting this. However, the minus here is Frieza is very technical. Frieza is a deck that, similar to Uub, like Uub you can make mistakes and still do well. Frieza, you really need to be careful when you're playing it, because every single card does something else. It's meant for a different situation. You need to keep track of how many of which cost you have, where is everything, especially because you're not necessarily running playsets of everything, which can lock you out of some plays. Yeah, Frieza is technical, but if you can master it, this deck is really rewarding. Frieza swap. Okay, so this is the build that I'm running at the moment. So it's okay, it's cool. Some of the ratios are a bit weird, but hey, let's go anyway. So Frieza swap, you play a Frieza, you bounce it back to hand, you play a bigger one. Sometimes you pay the cost. You have 4 of the 1-drop, that is the only 1-drop with swap. That's big. Luckily it has deflect barrier, it's very hard to kill unless you're playing against green, they'll just blow it up. Never let them kill your 1-drop. Then when you're looking at 4-drops, I'm running 9, you can run 8. This is a promo Frieza. When you play him, you look at top 5, you grab a Frieza, and then if you've added a card to your hand, you place 1 from hand to the top of your deck. So it's a way to tutor for the higher cost Friezas. And then comes the biggest buff that the deck got. This is a free cost with Deflect. It has swap, limit 1, but it also has auto. When this card is played, draw 1. So yeah, you can play this dude twice. You can play him the first time and then swap, and then you can play him the second time as well. So because auto isn't limit 1, you draw 2 cards. You draw from your leader skill, which says when you trigger a swap, draw 1. This one helps you draw a lot, very, very fast. And the only one that I'm playing a one off is this one. It just KO something, cost 4 or less in rest mode. I mean, it switches something, and then if it's 4 or less, it KOs it. And then you have your standard Frieza package. This one blanks skills when cards are played. This is the new one. Takes a life, helps you use the Awaken for cheaper. You have your barrier removal one here. You have the big boss monster. The 10 cost is amazing. The 10 cost helps you set up the 1-drop back again. It's also triple striker. You run single Gogeta because why not? And you're also running the newest Frieza SCR because it's one of the craziest floodgate effects in the entire game. And that's basically it. The rest is just negates and tech cards. And here is the Z deck, and yeah, let's move on. Believe it or not, this actually used to be BT27 Jiren, but then I just changed it last moment into Super 17 because I need to give Super 17 some time to shine. This deck is amazing. The Saiyan murder machine is here, and guys, this is a really fun one to play, though you might want to get that newest regionals promo for it because it creates some crazy lines of play. So the playstyle is between mid-range and aggro. You have leader aggro, which is really strong if your opponent doesn't have counters which end with thwarting the enemy. Leaders fly through a lot of counters in this game, and this leader is colossal when it starts attacking. It has lots of removal, not almost everything. There are cards which minus things, but they minus by a lot. You have multiple leader swings. You have 3 double strikes. And this part gets very overlooked. You play your Z extra for free. It gives something double strike as activate battle. So almost any swing can become a double strike attack. And now with the newest regional promo, you have a way to give your cards critical. So they just naturally gain critical, and then you give them double strike if your opponent hasn't negated your attack. And critical double strike is the scariest keyword to go against. Critical double strike is not something you want to play into. The minus is it's a weird deck to pilot. It takes getting used to. It really, really takes getting used to. You need to pay attention to when and how you combo to make sure that you have your sequencing correct, to play your Super 17s, to know what goes into the Z energy, what goes under a card, what can go back into the drop to be reused with Activate Battle. It's weird to pilot, but once you get used to it, it's really cool. The only other minus is that it's not a Saiyan. And because it's not a Saiyan, it can't use Imposing. And it also can't use SS4 Vegito SER. Like, those are 2 big minuses, but for what the deck does, it's pretty cool. Super Duper 17. Okay, let's go. Okay, so this dude got a massive buff in this newest regionals promo. This is not a card that you can open. You need to either get it at a regional event or buy it from someone. So effectively, if it's under a 6 or 8 cost Super 17, the card above it gains critical. That is insane. You have a 6 cost Super 17 that has double strike naturally. So once you place it under it, it's a double strike crit card. It's just 20k. It's not big, but still double crit very early on. That's cool. You also have the other one. This one is bigger. He has blocker. He gains barrier. You give him crit, and then you need to fire off your Z extra to give it double. So it's a bit more setup. You're just running your not Super 17s, Android 17s. You have the SR here, one of the best SRs in the game, for red at least. Also double dips as either of the fusion pieces, both Hellfighter and Android 17. When it comes to your Super 17s, you are running the full package, 4 of each 6 cost. This one is amazing. When you play it, both of them play your Z Extra for free. When you play this one, you minus something by 20. And this other one, when you play it, you just draw a card and you play a Z Extra. The free copies of the 7 cost are just here to put extra pressure. They're 30k criticals, so you're not putting the regionals promo under them. They have crit, but they don't have double, so you need to fire off the Z Extra to give them double. Other than that, the only new addition here is the Goku. This Goku does miracles in this deck, because Goku is a barrier blocker which restands once per turn on either player's turn when you use a card in a combo for the first time, and Super 17 as Activate Battle combos with a card from the drop. So you're not wasting a card from your hand to restand the Goku. You turn him into a dual blocker. He has barrier. If you're facing anything that's not green, they're gonna have a bit of a harder time killing it. Green is just gonna eat it alive. Every color except maybe red can actually deal with this one. Yellow has ways, but blue doesn't. Blue can't do much when you put this guy down. So, but if you're playing like black, if you're playing green, they have ways to kill it. And of course, the newest SCR. Because why not? Just triple striker, 40k, let's go. What you really want to play is also defeating the demon, because it costs only 1 energy, and then you have your negates. And finally, we have here the Z deck, just a bunch of Z unisons and 4 copies of the Z Extra, because we want to go very, very aggressive with this deck. For green, and yes, this time I'm remembering green, hopefully I've edited this in, Turtle School. So Turtle School is a fan favorite green deck. Like, this deck came out in set 18, and there's always like at least a couple of people playing Turtle School, no matter the metagame. The playstyle is mid-range. You can pivot into control, you can pivot into hand destruction very, very easily, very quickly. The deck is super adaptable. It's kind of mix of everything. Like, it's kind of everything. It's weird, good stuff. It has hand destruction, removal, ignoring barrier removal, because that's just what green does. It has aggro. It's super adaptable on the fly. Almost every card does something that's slightly different when it comes to Turtle School cards. I mean, you're mainly playing Goku and Krillin. It's highly customizable. It's really, really customizable. You can choose to go full archetype. You can choose to just focus on aggro, focus on board control. So this deck has a lot going for it. However, why is it a rogue deck? It falls short to other green decks. So everything that it's kind of a Swiss knife, right? It does a lot of everything. But the top green decks, they do a bit less, but they do it better. So that's why Turtle School is a rogue deck. However, the deck is really, really good. And I'm not saying that it can't fight those other green decks. It can probably beat a good amount of them. But still, it's kind of in a rogue territory, because those ones who are dedicated to a specific thing do it a bit better. Master Roshi, Turtle School. Okay, so this is the build that I've been playing around with. It's a bit of everything. This one is really a bit of everything. You're playing just one field card, right? Now you have the Z Extra to help you get it back. You're playing just Gokus and Krillins. You play them on your side, you play them on your opponent's side. And the thing with Master Roshi is that you need to KO one of your opponent's battle cards in attack. And then, well, you need to get rid of one of them in attack. And then if you manage to do that, you can cheat out one of the bigger ones. So Krillin says, basically, if you have 3 or more energy, you choose one Krillin with energy cost of 1, you send it to your drop, and when your attack KOs an opponent's battle card, you play Krillin. So what you do is you play this one on your side of the board. You play Goku, for example, on your opponent's side, swing with something, KO the Goku, pay 1 energy, play Krillin. So that's basically how it goes. Then you also have the Goku here, helps a bit with hand destruction, that's amazing. The glue that's keeping all of this together now is Mr. Roshi Harsh Teacher, because he has a permanent. During a battle in which your green Turtle School cards, Turtle School card is attacking a battle card, your opponent can't activate blocker or counters. So this time around, now with this card, there is no I'm going to negate your swing that sets up your plays. Roshi protects your plays completely. This card is insane. Then you have your classic green package, right? You have 2 of the Goku Fated Rivals, 2 Bojack, just removal, 4 Solidarity, best boss monster in the game, 2 Gogeta Shenron just to successor over them, just to continue pressuring, 2 Roshis just because we're playing the Z card as well, 4 Paragusses, and then we have a bit of a more defensive package, 3 King Colds, because King Cold in this deck costs only 1 energy, it's a floodgate, it negates the attack, and your opponent can't attack your leader unless they discard a card for every single attack until the end of the turn. You also run just 2 colors to send something to the drop instead of letting it see play. Cell Max is here for a burn. There is a burn way to just kill your opponent with Cell and the Z Bojack. Just play Cell, play Z Bojack, kill Cell, deal 1 damage uninterruptible. You have your Floodgates with Dormant and Uneasing, and then we just go into the Z deck that's a bunch of good stuff. And that's it. This new card is amazing. It allows you to use your field offensively, which is really, really crazy. And other than that, yeah, that's Turtle School in a nutshell. Last but not the least, we have a Fu deck. Yes, so Fu is one of the leaders that comes to mind when you're thinking like, okay, rogue decks, especially in black. It's a very unique black aggro deck. It's very fun to play. You cheat in attackers for free to pressure your opponent. It is sequence and Z deck knowledge heavy. Like you have 3 different combers, each do a different thing. You need to know which Fus you play, what you send to the top of your Z deck so that you can actually cheat it in with the Fu, but you're playing a lot of aggro for free. You can just go crazy very, very early on in the game. You have some neat defensive tricks that are unique to Fu. You can redirect an attack to one of your combers, so your opponent swings at you even if you don't have any negates. You're like, yeah, I'll take the cumber instead. That's big. That's really, really big. You're running the Golden Ball Chinian as your SER most of the time, which is also just activate battle speed, secret rare. It just says like, yeah, I don't die. So Fu is neat. Fu is neat. He lacks a lot of things that some other better black leaders have. They draw more, they put out more aggression very, very early on. But it's not the same, but that doesn't mean a lot anymore. However, when it comes to like aggro decks, currently with Beyond All Limits gone, Fu is one of the more consistent ones. So Fu is neat. You should go and you should try out Fu if you want to play a bit of a weirder black rogue deck. And finally we have Fu, and this is Fu from Oceania. So this is a weird one. Usually you run more copies of Fu. This deck didn't do so. The only Fu played was the newest one from BT27. So if you're looking for a more standard Fu list, go to Deck Planet, click here on Deck Database, and then just enter Super Fu. And you will get more lists. But I wanted to highlight this one because I think it's cool. It's running all of the combos. So this one combos with something when it attacks from the drop. This one sends a card to the warp when it's played. And this one basically when it's played sends a card from the hand to the warp. They're all 20Ks because they're all servants. So you're just playing them for free under your Fus. From under your Fus. You also have the way to get your boss monsters out. So you have the big Fu And you also have the Cumber, which just removes something ignoring barrier. For survival, this deck is running a whopping 4 copies of Golden Cooler. You don't need 4 copies of Golden Cooler, but this list runs them as a floodgate. And basically you can run Dr. Uiro. It's a very cool way of defending yourself. You can play him for free. It's a counter attack it doesn't negate the attack, it plays itself, and it switches an energy to active mode. And to play it for free, you rest a scientist leader, and your foe is a scientist who doesn't need to attack. So you just switch into rest mode, you play the counter, and then you can just spend it on something else. And of course the SCR is the Golden Bolchinian. So other than that, we have the Z deck here. The only new card is the Gohan from the pre-release. And yeah, that was the deck list. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below, which deck will you be playing? Are you gonna be playing any one of these? Are you already playing one of these? Let me know in the comments. I read all of your comments. I try to respond to everything. I love our little community. And while you're here, hit those like and subscribe buttons. Help us get to 6k subs when I'm gonna give away a booster box. This has been Damien from the Lookout, and I'll see all of you in the next video.